This is the most controversial, discussed, and mysterious painting by Leonardo da Vinci. And if you think that I'm talking about Mona Lisa, well, you're wrong. On November 15, 2017, one of the lots at Christie's auction was Salvator Mundi, a work attributed to Leonardo da Vinci. In less than 20 minutes of bidding, it was sold for a shocking $450 million. It was not just a record, it was a number that no one could even think of. Yes, it's Da Vinci. The name speaks for itself, and you can expect a low price for his work. But there is only one tiny problem. No one still can be sure that Salvator Mundi was painted by Leonardo. This painting was lost for centuries, then came out of nowhere, attributed to Leonardo without independent expertise, eventually sold for hundreds of millions of dollars, and disappears again. I mean, no one knows where is it now. So what happened? Was it a lost masterpiece, or it was just a marketing ploy? Was it really worth $450 million? And who can possibly buy a painting for this amount of money and then makes it disappear?
Now, with all those questions about the richest painting sale ever, $450 million.
Reports suggest that the Saudi Arabia's crown prince is the mysterious buyer of a rare Leonardo da Vinci painting.
Leonardo never painted anyone remotely like
But this is not a Da Vinci thing.
I think it's fake art news.
And the piece is sold.
Okay, so right now there are less than 20 artworks that can be accurately attributed to Leonardo da Vinci. Not much. In comparison, for Van Gogh, this number will be more than 2,000. People in the art world dream this beautiful dream about lost Leonardo. Each decade, around a dozen of pieces are claimed as lost Leonardo. How many of them were found as true Leonardo? Only 2 of them. Every academic wants to make a discovery, so imagine what happens when they actually found one. This improbable story started with this man. His name is Alexander Parrish, and he is a slipper hunter. Slipper is an artwork by a major artist that slips unnoticed through the sales room and is priced far below its actual cost. So slipper hunter is someone who recognizes the master's work, buys it, and then sells it for a higher price. In 2005, he was looking on the New Orleans auction gallery website, and one lot got his attention. It was a painting of a Christ with the description "After Leonardo da Vinci." Parrish thought that it might be a piece by a student of Leonardo's. At this point, it's important to note what exactly the world knew about Salvator Mundi in 2005. Shortly, not much. It was known that the original Salvator Mundi was painted by Leonardo around 1500, that it was catalogued in the collections of the English King Charles I. The historical trail was lost in the second half of the 18th century and then reappeared in 1900 when it was acquired by a British collector who had no idea that this painting was by Leonardo. It was also known that this painting was one of Da Vinci's most copied works. There were at least 20 copies painted by Leonardo's followers. And it was also thought that the real Salvator Mundi was either lost or destroyed. Parrish sent a link to the work to art dealer and historian Robert Simon. He also found the work very intriguing. Eventually, they bought it for a little more than $1,000. When the painting arrived, they could see its pretty questionable condition. It was really bad, even for its age. Overpainted and damaged, mostly on the face of Christ. They wrapped the painting in a trash bag and bring it to the art restorer Diane Modestini. During the process of restoration, Modestini revealed the first position of the thumb. It is called pentiment, the earlier draft of the painting. The thumb was moved to a different position in the final draft of the painting, which means that it's not a copy but the original work. And it makes sense because when you copy someone's work, you just imitate what you see without any creative process. Then she found similar details in the painting technique of Salvator Mundi with Mona Lisa. This is when Modestini was absolutely sure that she was restoring a painting by Leonardo, because no other artist could have done this kind of painting. Imagine this shock. The painting that you bought in New Orleans for around just $1,000 is one of the works by Leonardo da Vinci. It was lost for hundreds of years and now you own it. Where you should go, what you should do? Simon started to show the painting to the experts. In 2008, they brought Salvator Mundi to London. to show the painting to a group of leading scholars in the National Gallery. It caused a lot of controversy. Yes, some of them agreed that Salvator Mundi had this kind of presence that Leonardo's works have, but many noticed that it's very difficult to judge a painting that was so damaged and heavily restored. Besides that, there were questions about some of the details of the painting. The girls are schematic, which looks more like a pupil's work, and the blessing hand was drawn anatomically. This is weird because Leonardo studied human anatomy extensively. And the crystal orb. It should produce inverted images, but instead it was painted as if it were a hollow glass. Leonardo at the time studied the optics, so why did he paint it incorrectly? In 2011, despite the fact that it was a heavily discussed painting and there were concerns about attribution, National Gallery in London still decided to show the painting in their Leonardo's exhibition. Why they did do that? Probably to boost the number of visitors to the exhibition, but their decision not only affected their own show, but also the price of the Salvator Mundi. Okay, so here's the deal. Sometimes in the art market you don't put a price on a painting, you put it on a name. In this case, it was Leonardo. And when National Gallery called Salvator Mundi Leonardo's, they made it exceptionally valuable. This situation was very beneficial for Simon and Parrish, who of course wanted to sell the painting. Their first intention was to sell it to the museum, but some of them couldn't raise enough money, another just declined to pursue an acquisition. It was time to go with another plan, a private sale. This is how Salvator Mundi was sold to a Swiss dealer, Yves Bouvier. Well, actually, Bouvier bought it not for himself, but for Russian oligarch Dmitry Rybolovlev. It was a tricky scheme. Rybolovlev was interested in the painting and began exploring the possibility of purchasing the Salvator Mundi for his art collection. He turned to Swiss dealer Yves Bouvier for assistance. Bouvier had already accumulated a number of high-value artworks on Dmitry's behalf. Meanwhile, Bouvier knew that no one wanted to buy a painting because of its questionable attribution and huge amount of restoration. So long story short, he bought the painting for $83 million. The price was lower than Simon and Parrish asked in the first place, but then sold it to Rybolovlev for $127.5 million. Did Dmitry know about this difference in price? Nope. This is how Bouvier has made over $40 million on transaction, which is like a lot. He even manufactured fake email negotiations so that Rublev had an impression that he was getting the best possible price for the Salvator Mundi. And just like that, Salvator Mundi once cost just $1,000, now worth over $120 million. Messing around with Russian oligarch was not a very good idea. When Rybolovlev found out about the deal, he was furious. Besides his trying to destroy Bouvier's reputation and sue him in every courthouse, he wanted to get rid of the art that he radically overpaid. For selling, he went to Christie's. And this is when Salvator Mundi ends up. His collection was brilliant, and Salvator Mundi was kind of a black swan, so Christie's went all in on this painting. They called it the male Mona Lisa. And it was a very good idea because, first, it explains the value of Salvator Mundi. The Mona Lisa is insured for over $800 million, so there is no way that the male Mona Lisa will not cost a fortune. Second, the Mona Lisa is kind of a celebrity, superstar. And marking Salvator Mundi as male Mona Lisa, you convince the potential buyer that he or she is buying another global celebrity. Christie's marketing machine for Salvator Mundi generated tons of traffic and hype. They even had Leonardo DiCaprio for its marketing video. And also, like a rock star, Salvator Mundi had its own global tour, with stops in cities with potential buyers, like London and Hong Kong. Christie's tagline was "The Last Leonardo." They couldn't appeal to the provenance, so they were appealing to the power and legacy that you can buy with this painting. Because who knows, maybe there will be no more of Leonardo's works, and this is your last chance to buy one. But what was interesting is that there was still intense debate about its attribution. So basically, all this hype was around a painting that may not be Leonardo's at all. The 15th of November 2017. The room at Christie's in Rockefeller Center was completely packed. Christie's placed Salvator Mundi in its post-war and contemporary sale. It doesn't make any sense because Leonardo is an old master, but it attracts the wealthiest buyers in the market. In less than 20 minutes, the bidding went up to $400 million, plus another $50 million that went to the auction house. It was the most valuable price ever achieved at auction, and now the painting was shrouded in a new mystery. Who bought Salvator Mundi and where in the world is it now? Because after the auction, the Salvator Mundi disappeared again. Have you ever heard something about the Louvre Abu Dhabi? The Louvre Abu Dhabi is the product of a collaboration between the French government and the government of the United Arab Emirates. In early December 2017, the New York Times revealed the identity of the possible buyer of Salvator Mundi, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed ibn Salman. Apparently, it was supposed to be a gift for the newly opened Louvre in Abu Dhabi, to be the cornerstone of its permanent collection. But first, they needed to put Salvator Mundi in the Louvre show. The Louvre Museum was organizing a major exhibition marking the 500th anniversary of the artist's death, and everyone was very looking for the Salvator Mundi to come up. But the painting was not presented in the show. The place that was supposed to be held for Salvator Mundi was blank, just an empty wall. And the question began to rise again. Where's the painting? In March 2020, Alison Cole of the Art newspaper reported that the Louvre curators had secretly prepared a glossy of the conclusions of their examination of the painting. No one knew that the book exists and that the Louvre made some examination of the painting. And according to this book, the Salvator Mundi was attributed to Leonardo. But again, it's hard to be objective and say something about the context of the book that officially doesn't exist and the painting that disappeared. So why the Louvre didn't publish this information? What happened? The questions rose again. Turns out that Salvator Mundi was secretly brought to Paris in 2018. Where it was taken to the Louvre laboratory for examination. It was really supposed to be loaned for the exhibition, but the problem was that the owner wanted it to be shown in the same room as the Mona Lisa. Considering the promising title Male Mona Lisa, you can understand the intention, but the Louvre refused to do that. French officials argued that placing a painting next to Mona Lisa would be impossible because of the extraordinary security measures, so the owner refused to lend it. The French, in turn, removed the book detailing examination process over the Salvator Mundi. They also have a rule that prohibited disclosing any evaluation or authentication of works not shown in the museum. So museum officials were forbidden to discuss any details about it. So that's it? Where is the painting now? No one knows. Maybe it's in Abu Dhabi or in Paris or in the Freeport in Switzerland. Who really bought this painting? Why? For what purpose? When we'll see it again? We don't know. Salvator Mundi was lost for centuries, found in New Orleans, changed the art market and disappeared again. And all this mystery gives it attraction and hype. You want to go and look at it by yourself. What everyone is talking about. It is the greatest discovery, the greatest mystery, or maybe just the greatest marketing of the 21st century. Which of this is right to say? Maybe we'll never know.